Let's go ahead and talk the story about Aaron Hernandez, Boston, Massachusetts. Aaron Hernandez ambushed and shot to death two men after a chance encounter inside a Boston nightclub. Prosecutors said Thursday as they announced new murder charges against the former NFL star who's already waiting trial and another shooting death. The victims in the 2012 killing, Daniel DeBrew, Safario Furtado, were shot to death in a car as they waited at a red light on a July night in Boston's South End neighborhood. Suffolk District Attorney Daniel Connolly would not elaborate on what happened in the nightclub other than saying that encounter triggered a series of events that ended in the murderers. But he said that after the man left, Hernandez followed a SUV, then pulled up alongside the vehicle and fired multiple shots from a 38 caliber revolver into the passenger side, killing DeBrew and Rutanto, and wounding a third man. Two other passengers in the car were uninjured. Connolly said there was no evidence that Hernandez knew the victims prior to that evening. Weeks after the double shooting, Hernandez signed a 5-year deal worth about $40 million with the New England Patriots and went on to play 12 games as a tight end that season. A spokesman for the Patriots said the team had no comment. Hernandez is already waiting trial in a June 2013 shooting of 27-year-old Olden Lloyd near Hernandez North Alderburgh home, and it's being held without bond after pleading not guilty to the murder and Lloyd's death. Under a system of justice, Aaron Hernandez is innocent of those charges and looks forward to his day in court, says his lawyer Charles Ricken and James Sultan. In a statement ordering to a news conference held by Connolly to announce the charges, the attorney said they will not try the case in the media. Connolly said the investigation of the Boston killings moved forward after the Lloyd case, which will be tried separately in another Massachusetts court. He noted to discover in Bristol, Connecticut, of the car of Hernandez was driving the night the man died, and the recovery of the alleged murder weapon from the unarmed person with ties to Hernandez. Connolly declined to say whether authorities suspected any connection between the Boston and North Aldersburg shootings. Hernandez is charged with 2 accounts of first-degree murder and 3 counts of armed assault, with intent to murder as well as unlawful possession of the gun used in the attack. Connolly said notoriety surrounding the former NFL star played no role in the way the case was investigated. This was never about Aaron Hernandez. This case was about 2 victims who were stalked, ambushed, and senselessly murdered on the streets they called home, he said. Tanya Singleton, Hernandez's cousin, was charged with criminal corrupt contempt of court and the indictment returned by Suffolk County grand jury. Singleton was given immunity to testify before the grand jury but refused, Connolly said. A message left with Singleton's lawyer was not immediately returned. Families of the victims had filed several lawsuits in February against Hernandez, seeking $6 million for the wrongful deaths of the 2 men. Hernandez was cut by the Patriots hours after his arrest in the Lloyd case, and head coach Bill Belichick later said he was shocked and disappointed upon learning of the criminal investigation. Also Thursday, an associate of Hernandez, Ernest Wallace, pleaded not guilty to the murder and Lloyd's death. Wallace who has been described by prosecutors as Hernandez's right-hand man, has also pleaded not guilty to accessory charges and the killing. Hernandez was suspected to be a bridge on the new charges in South Fork County Superior Court next week. So that means Mr. Hernandez, now as we say, he's charged with these steps. And obviously right now, the way I see it right now for this young man, I've even trying to return to the NFL. That's going to be one tough problem there for him because he won't get out of jail that easy. Presented by the North Texas Chevy Dealers. Meet the new premium all 2015 Chevy Tahoe. For more, visit your North Texas Chevy Dealers today. This is very a ridiculous sad case here, folks, because Aaron Hernandez not pleading not guilty. Is it just me, or has this guy lost his mind? Why are you saying he's not guilty when he murdered 2 more shooting deaths from different places near his hometown in Massachusetts? That's something I don't really understand. And I cannot speculate what's going to happen with Aaron Hernandez. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it at the moment. Because I really don't know why this happened in the first place in the beginning. You know? So, to me right now, folks, this is not the right thing. At all, period. At the moment. Okay, here's our next story here. Let's go to the next story here in just a moment. Tonight's 3:24. Here in this beautiful Thursday afternoon here in the Metroplex. Which we will gladly continue talking in just a moment. But to me it seems obvious though. Okay. Alrighty, here we go. In just a moment, we will wait. Let's see here. Alright, here we go. What is it that wait? Okay, here we go. Now this one is kind of a weird news story here, folks, and I'll tell you about it right now. Here we go. Glenna, Kansas, Missouri. An 8-year-old girl, Kansas girl, is being held for her quick thinking after she took control of the family's SUV when her mom fell unconscious at the wheel during their highway ride to school. Abby Porter and her mom, Shelley, were on the road on Kansas 66 headed to the school in Riverton early Wednesday, when Shelley had a medical emergency and passed out. Glenna police officer Jimmy Hamilton noticed the SUV waving along at about 20 miles an hour and saw Abby at the wheel alongside her unconscious mom. Hamilton positioned his car in front of the SUV and Abby steered into the patrol car until they both stopped. The police department in Glenna, about 150 miles south of Kansas City, is presenting Abby with the plaque for outstanding bravery in life-threatening situation. Wow, this is a weird one here, folks. Since when does an 8-year-old child takes her mama to the emergency room because her mama was unconscious? This is very weird. And she was going at 20 miles an hour. Wow. On Interstate 66. This is very weird. I mean, my goodness, this young girl showed bravery. And kudos to Abby Porter, who helped her mama to the emergency room. Now, we're not so sure what happened to the mom, of course. We will be bringing you more updates about that probably tomorrow, Friday. This is not the first time you see an 8-year-old child, people, driving an SUV vehicle. And then Glenna police officer Jimmy Hamilton, you know, pulled right in front of Abby, and they were about 150 miles away south of Kansas City. Obviously to me, folks, this is a weird story. An 8-year-old girl driving her mama to the emergency room. How did she knew where the steering wheel was? That's my question. How did she knew about that? I'm not so sure. This is very, very odd. I mean, odd. This ain't the first time this happened, though, folks. Really, this is not the first time. I mean, her mama was unconscious. Wow, that's very weird. It's very weird at this point because I never seen an 8-year-old child drive a vehicle. Never. And it's the first time this has happened in Glenna, Kansas, Missouri. Wow. This is very, very odd. But kudos to every reporter. Drove in her mama to the medical emergency room. I'm guessing the mom must have some health issues because you don't know what the age of the mom was, but really, this is very much takes the wheel in an emergency. I mean, luckily, this wasn't the first time this happened today, really, at this point at the moment, because this is very odd, though. Very odd. I don't understand. Kansas girl takes the wheel in emergency, and for her to drive her mama to medical emergency and passed out. Wow, this is very odd. And she was waving along at 20 miles an hour. Wow, this is very, very odd. Wow, kudos to Abby Porter. She's a hero. Kudos to you, Abby Porter, up in Glenna, Kansas, Missouri. I'm very proud of you, child. Took her mama to the emergency room, folks. North Texas. Wow, this is not the first time for me to see an 8-year-old little girl, 8-year-old child, take her mama to the emergency room, folks. This is not the first time. Really, it's not. This is odd. Very odd. I don't get it. I really, really don't get it. How does this happen? How does a unconscious mom let the 8-year-old kid, 8-year-old little girl, take the wheel? Wow. I'm guessing this youngin is very brave. Up in Glenna, Kansas, Missouri. She's 8 years old, North Texas. 8 years old. Wow. That's very strange to you, isn't it? It's very strange to me. It truly is. I really don't get it. I really don't. Wow. That's impressive. But kudos to you, Abby Porter. Kudos to you. Kudos for me. An ex-student of DASD known as Coropal Martinez. Class of 2007 here live on YouTube.com here in Dallas, Fort Worth. Time now is 3:30. We'll take a quick break here and coming up next, I'll talk about what happened with the Brooklyn Nets last night in game something between the Miami Heat and Miami, Florida. I'll get into that much more when I come back live here on YouTube.com. We're back next.
Jimmy, folks who save hundreds of dollars switching to Geico sure are happy. How happy, right? Happier than Gallagher at farmers market. Get happy, get Geico. 15 minutes could save you 50% or more. Folks who save hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico sure are happy. How happy are they, Jimmy? I'd say happier than a bodybuilder directing traffic. He does look happy. by switching to Geico sure are happy. And how happy are they, Jimmy? Happier than Christopher Columbus with speedboats. That's happy. Get happy. Get Geico. 15 minutes could save you 50% or more.
So we all set?
I've got 2 tickets to paradise. Not your bags will be tonight. That's next month, actually. Paradise.
No, 4. Remember?
You know, Ronnie, folks who save hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico sure are happy. And how happy are they, Jimmy? Happier than any money when he's traveling. So get happy. Get Geico. 15 minutes could save you 50% or more. Stand up to it. No, you're not. I know. You know, Ronnie, folks who save hundreds of dollars switching to Geico sure are happy. How happy are they, Jimmy? Happier than a witch in a broom factory. Get happy. Get Geico. 15 minutes could save you 50% or more. Folks who save hundreds of dollars switching to Geico sure are happy. I'd say happier than Slinky on a nest. Get happy. Get Geico. Look who's back. Again. Embarrassing. We can see you, Carl. We can totally see you. Come on, you're better than this. All that prowling around. Yeah, you're the king of the jungle. Have you thought about going vegan, Carl? You know, folks who save hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico sure are happy. How happy are they, Jimmy? Happier than an antelope with night vision goggles. Nice. Get happy. Get Geico. 15 minutes could save you 50% or more. Shot. Get happy. Get Geico. 15 minutes could save you 50% or more. Hey, get on. Rich. Where? Sorry. Hey, Jimmy. Here, folks who save hundreds of dollars switching to Geico. I've been a polar bear on a cell phone. Why not? Get happy. Get Geico. 15 minutes could save you 50%. Hey, you're positive. I had some lemonade for lunch. Let's get started, shall we? Jimmy, how happy are folks who save hundreds of dollars switching to Geico? Happier than Dracula volunteering in a blood drive. Get happy. Get Geico. 15 minutes could save you 50% or more. Sir. Ryan, how happy are folks who save hundreds of dollars switching to Geico? I'd say happier than the Pillsbury Doughboy on his way to a baking convention. Get happy. Get Geico. 15 minutes could save you 50% or more.
All right, welcome back here live on YouTube.com, presented by movie Godzilla. Screenings tonight, 6 o'clock, everywhere in theaters. See it in real 3D or IMAX 3D. For more, go to Godzilla.com. So, let's see here in just a moment. Let's talk about this. Of course, go ahead and update your Major League Baseball scores. Final through 10th extra innings. Twins win over the Red Sox 4-3. Cardinals beat the Cubs 5-3. Padres lose to the Reds 5-0. Brewers beat the Pirates 4-3 today. Okay. So what really happened to the Brooklyn Nets last night in game something? What happened? What happened to Portland? What really happened? That's my understanding. What really happened in this game? Because now, from the looks of it now, there's only going to be a few teams here that are going to survive this series. And a few may not survive this game. So what really happened? That's my question. What happened yesterday to these teams? Unfortunately, nothing at all that surprised me. Okay, yesterday's final scores, of course, from game let's see here. These weren't in, unfortunately, so let's scroll down here. Yesterday, unfortunately, these were right here. Yesterday, of course, from both of game fives. It surprised me that Miami took care of business and beat Brooklyn last night at home in Miami. And it surprised me that this team got very lucky. What happened to Brooklyn? What happened? I mean, losing this game, not looking good at all. And it still surprised me that Brooklyn didn't get it done. So what's going to happen with Brooklyn now during this off season? I'm not so sure what's really going to happen. But I'm not only pointing fingers at Brooklyn, I'm also pointing fingers at Portland because Portland couldn't win yesterday in San Antonio, Texas. They lose yesterday 104-82. Miami wins over the Brooklyn Nets 96-94. Wow, that's very unbelievable. It really is. So we get games tonight, of course, on ESPN tonight, of course, Thursday night NBA Conference, Western Conference semi-playoffs. And, of course, you got Game 6 tonight. Pacers at Wizards, 6 o'clock on ESPN, followed by 9:30. Oklahoma City Thunder at the LA Clippers. If necessary, they'll be playing Game 7 on Sunday at 2:30, followed by at 6 o'clock on TNT back in Oklahoma. We're not for sure what's really going to happen there. But as this case may look to me right now, unfortunately here, folks, this is not the right opportunity that we thought was going to happen. Because I was pulling for Portland to win this game this season, and unfortunately that didn't happen at all. And it just surprises me that this team cannot get it. They couldn't get it done yesterday in game 5. They lose game 5. So both teams in the road, both road teams lose game 5. Brooklyn and Portland, they both lose game 5s. So right now, to tell you the truth, I really don't know what's going to happen now in San Antonio. Kudos to them, I guess. Kudos to them, and not good for Portland Trail Blazers. You know, we don't know if the Portland Trail Blazers players are going to stay there next season. Unfortunately, I really don't know what's going to happen. But this is a very surprising story, though, because during this past season of the NBA playoffs, 2014, I said, okay, the Dallas Mavericks, they're going to beat the Spurs in the first round. Did not. They lost in the first round. They got eliminated right away in the first round. And to come to think of it, we all picked them for nothing. Then Memphis gets eliminated. Atlanta. Chicago. Then Brooklyn. And then Portland. Now it's up to Oklahoma to win tonight in Los Angeles. It's up to them. So really, it's no imaginable right now for neither of these teams. But if Washington wins tonight in Game 6, then kudos to the Wizards. And kudos to Oklahoma City Thunder winning it tonight in Los Angeles, California. Because I just think right now in the NBA Finals matchup, I think it's going to be Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Washington Wizards. So that means Miami will lose in the third round conference semifinals to who? To the Washington Wizards. That's who they're going to lose to. That's unfortunate that's going to happen. So that means LeBron James don't stay that much long in Miami, Florida. And like I said, there's rumors going out there, folks, that he might go back to Cleveland, Ohio. Could that be a possibility? Maybe. I mean, the Cavaliers of Cleveland, Ohio, they didn't give a chance to their former head coach, Mike Brown. Instead, they fired this guy. They fired him for what? For a low record he had last season in the NBA? You just got him what this year, and then you're gonna fire him. The NBA season hasn't even started, and you're already firing this guy. Where are you gonna leave Mike Brown? And Cleveland. LeBron James is not gonna stay along with Miami, Florida. With the Heat, he's gonna leave. He's going back to his hometown in Cleveland, Ohio, and he's gonna go back over there with his former teammates and fans. And come to think of it, he's going back to Cleveland, Ohio. He's probably going to wonder, where is Coach Mike Brown? They're going to tell him, well, LeBron, he's not here, brother. So that's not looking good for the Cavaliers in Cleveland, Ohio. It's not. So I really don't know what's going on with these head coaches in the NBA. If Frank Vogel from the Indiana Pacers doesn't win tonight at home, is this job not safe? No, it's not. Because it looks like Larry Bird might end up firing Frank Vogel from the Indiana Pacers. Now, if the Clippers lose tonight at home, which they will, are they going to fire Coach Doc Rivers next season? No. Coach Doc Rivers will stay. So, my biggest problem here with the head coach in the NBA, I'm probably wondering, who are the Portland Trail Blazers going to get? Do I think Steve Kerr is ready to go coach the Golden State Warriors in Oakland, California? I don't think he's ready. I don't think Steve Kerr is going to have a lot of experience with the Golden State Warriors. And then the brother of Jeff Van Gundy, Stan Van Gundy, ex-coach of the Orlando Magic when Dwight Howard was playing with you, he's going to go coach the Detroit Pistons. Wow. That's the biggest hurrah up in Detroit, Michigan. And you're wondering, is Stan Van Gundy going to win games with the Pistons next season? No. He's going to lose them all next season. I really don't know what's going to happen during this season, during this offseason of the NBA, folks. I really can't speculate too much at the moment. I don't know. We will see. We will be talking about, of course, like I said, the good NBA Finals matchup should be Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Washington Wizards. That'll be a good matchup right there. The Spurs are going to lose to Oklahoma in the third round because they had multiple times in the regular season of the NBA live on national television. That's what's going to happen. The San Antonio Spurs are going to go home with nothing in the third round, and they're going to lose. And Popovich and Tim Duncan and Tony Parker, those guys are going to probably retire at the end of the season. But they're going to retire all right. They're going to retire. Now, why isn't Chris Bosh wanting to come play for the Dallas Mavericks here in Dallas? I really don't get it. He played in Lincoln High School. He is from Dallas, Texas, so why not choose to play with the Dallas Mavericks? I'll tell you why he doesn't want to play with the Dallas Mavericks. Probably because of Mark Cuban. Let's just say him and Chris Bosh, they probably they don't get along. Let's just say that, not speculating, but probably they don't get along with each other. Let's just say that here today. And if they don't get along, then I'm wondering what's going to happen. All right, let's go ahead and time now is 3:47 here. Thank you for joining me here live on YouTube.com. Let's go ahead and go to ESPN Dallas, shall we? Let's go ahead and go to ESPNDallas.com here real quick. Because that's the way I see it right now at the moment, really. So, let's see here. Later on, it'll be Game 2, the doubleheader at 5:10, Padres and Reds, followed by 6:07, the Tribe taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. 6:10, New York Yankees at the Mets. 7:10, Orioles taking on the Royals. 9:05, Tampa at the Halos. 9:15, Miami Marlins taking on the San Francisco Giants. And of course, the Blackhawks win their series Friday. Tomorrow will be Game 7 between the Anaheim Ducks and LA Kings tomorrow, 8 o'clock. And then Saturday at noon will be New York Rangers versus Montreal. So Chicago Blackhawks, they advance. Series tied. Minnesota Wild lost. Penguins lost, of course. Bruins won. Everybody's just saying what really happened. And like I said, right now, it's not looking well. At all, period. So let's see here right now. Let's go ahead and talk about this one here, shall we? Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and do that today. How about that? I'll explain to you a little bit of the off season of the NBA. And I'm going to ask some of you, do you think that's the right choice for the Mavs or not? Let's go ahead and talk about it. In the ideal scenario, the Mavericks would make Sam Dalibert one of their league's better backup big men this summer. The problem is there aren't many potential upgrades available in free agency. In fact, you could argue that Marcin Gortat fits the Mavs, needed for a center who can serve as a rim protecting, rebound grabbing defensive anchor, while also posing a threat as a roll man offensively. And the Washington Wizards aren't likely going to let Gortat go without pulling up a financial fight. There is a pair of intriguing possible salary dump trades opinions at the position as maintained by ESPN's.com Mark Stein. In his Mavs Summer Scoop, Tyson Chandler and Larry Sanders. Chandler will be forever beloved in Dallas due to being such a critical piece of the 2011 championship puzzle. Will be extremely safe trade target. Sure, there is waste and injury concern with him, but the Mavs will only be committed to the final season of that big contract he signed with the New York Knicks. And that's obviously familiar with Chandler and knows he's almost as available in the locker room as in he's on the floor. Sanders, on the other hand, will be about as risky as they come. He arrived in Dallas with a 4-year, $44 million contract extension that begins this summer. The character reflects the size of the billboards. But man, does that frisky, athletic, 6'11" dude have the tools to be a great fit next to Dirk Nowitzki? For the big German's golden years, as Sanders' head is screwed on straight, he's a defensive player of the year candidate who has yet to hit his prime. And he's an elite shot blocker, ranking second in the NBA with 28 per game in 2012-13 season, dispute averaging 273 minutes with a wedge. He's an excellent rebounder, 95 per game in 2012-2013. His presence can make the difference between a team's defense being strong or stinking, as was the case for the 2012-13 Bucks. But there's a reason that Milwaukee might want to dump such a dominant defensive big man. Sanders also ranks along the league leaders in baggage. Sanders certainly did his best to give the Bucks fire remorse last season. He needed surgery on his thumb after getting in a bar fight and got suspended 5 games for violating the league's drug policy. then figured they gave him a platform to lobby to reform the nation's marijuana laws. Sanders, who suffered a season-ending fractured overall bone on February 8, didn't perform well in the few games he did play last season. His numbers dropped drastically from the previous 77 points, 72 rebounds, 17 blocks, and 23 per game sample size. Maybe the 25-year-old Sanders would benefit tremendously by moving from Milwaukee to Dallas as Montana Ellis and Delbert. The Mavs take great pride in having created a culture that brings the best of our players. However, that's far from foolproof. They couldn't save Josh Howard's career. When he started sabotaging off with the court foolishness. They couldn't get Lamar Odom to care during his brief stay in Dallas. If Sanders kept going to South and Dallas, the Mavs would be stuck with him. That's not a contract that could expect to get rid of if Sanders proves that he'll be a problem regardless of his surroundings. However, if Sanders got back on track in Dallas, he might be good enough to mask the defense weakness of elite offensive team. In other words, the Mavs might be legitimate contenders again. Rest assured that Mark Cuban and Donnie Nelson would be doing a massive amount of homework before pulling the trigger on the trade for Sanders. That includes discussions with Ellis, who might not have good things to say about a former teammate who reportedly almost fought after the game, while the Bucks question would play over the next 4 years. Well, reportedly almost 5-3 game, while the Bucks were being swept by the Miami Heat in the first round of the playoffs. Mavs front office would have to figure out their answer to a $44 million question that will pay out over the next 4 years. Is that the risk of those massive character reflects worth the reward of Sanders' ridiculous upgrade? Now, I'm not so sure what is really going to happen with this young man. Do I think that the Mavs get this guy? Obviously, probably. Now, I couldn't say that they don't have a chance with Sanders. They might. There's a possibility. I couldn't rule out who will be fit for the Dallas Mavericks. But not only you want these guys here, folks. No, you want somebody else also. All right. Now it's 3:56 here. So let's go to the next one. Here's talk NFL offseason, shall we? And then we'll discuss Todd McShay's problems for next season. Okay, here we go. Irving, Texas. Dallas Cowboys will have 15 players at the rookie minicamp on tryout basics. They will join the 9 draft picks and 24 undrafted free agents at Valley Ranch on Friday and Saturday. The Cowboys could have included 2 players of last year's practice squad, wide receiver Tim Benford and linebacker Jonathan Stewart, and workouts as well, but opting to hold them out. The tryout players include Oklahoma State quarterback Tyler Pett and Colorado State center Gus Hindler and critical quarterback Brandon McCradle. Oklahoma State linebacker Khalif Levy, wide receiver Lee Keptis, Baylor linebacker Eddie Lackey, Louisiana Maroon quarterback Colton Browning, and Wake Forest running back Josh Harris, Tennessee defensive tackle Maurice Couch, Texas and Kennesaw wide receiver Robert Armstrong, Bowling Green defensive back Aaron Foster, Louisiana Ramon G.S. Edwards, and Texas Tech defensive lineman Darkwin Bush, and BYU tight end Kahala Farrell. Taekwondo went to camp with the Houston Texans in 2011 and they mini camp. So this is they're gonna have 15 players for tryouts during this off season, and unfortunately, it's not looking well. As I say once again, this is going to be the biggest problem. Let's just say that at the moment because it is. But like I said, folks, this isn't going to sound right for neither of us at the moment, really. This isn't. So where do we go from here? I I really don't know. As much as I want to think that there is no reason for it, but obviously, because there wasn't nobody at the point who wanted to play for this team. I mean, who are we kidding here? The majority of people who wanted to play, well, they're going to play. And the majority of those who don't play, well, what can I say for now? Not bad, not bad. Very bad as I speak. Okay, here we go. The Cowboys signed the first of their 9 draft picks Thursday with 7th round selection. Stanford defensive tackle Ben Gardner inked a 4-year deal according to a source. Gardner was one of the 7th rounders the Cowboys drafted on Saturday in defensive heavy draft. Gardner is 6'3", 276 pounds, will play defensive tackle, is expected to beat backup Henry Milton along the line. A first-team All-Pac-12 selection last season, Gardner suffered a season-ending torn partial muscle. The injury prevented him from participating in the combine, and he was cleared by an independent doctor 2 weeks ago to resume football activities. Cowboys officials expect him to participate in the rookie minicamp this weekend at Bella Ranch. Gardner played just 9 games last season, yet 19 tackles, 75 tackles for loss, 45 sacks, and 1 block punt. The whole process has been long, kind of stressful, Gardner said after getting drafted last week. I was able to finish my senior season, which was terrible, and then I missed out on the combine, the Senior Bowl, and all of that. It probably hurt me. And my draft stock basically at the end of the day, you just want to be back in place where you have a chance to succeed, no matter where you're drafted, and I think it's a perfect fit in Dallas, and I couldn't be happier about it. The Cowboys are trying to finance the deals for the most of the 3rd late round picks this week. The Cowboys have also signed 7th round pick Will Smith, an inside linebacker from Texas Tech, to a 4-year deal contract. Smith, the 2 linebackers team drafted linebacker Anthony Hutchins, a 4th round pick from Iowa, is unsigned. That's going to be the best players there for the Dallas Cowboys. Unfortunately, but like I said, we ain't got too much for quarterbacks here in Dallas, unfortunately. And it's not looking well now at the moment. Let's just say that for sure. Well, we will take a quick break here, and coming up next, we'll get into one of the problems here in California weather. Unfortunately, for the California weather, who has been a little bit, actually not California weather, this is a different one. Okay, so let's go back here in just a moment here. We'll go back to our home page in just a moment. Okay, so we will go ahead and explain to you, does Steve Kerr have the experience with coaching an NBA team for next season, 2015? I'm not so sure. Does he even have that? Does he even have that opportunity to stay involved at any point, at any moment? Like I said, I really don't know. We'll see there. Will he be the perfect pick for anybody to contend this young man? Like I said, folks, this isn't going to be easier for neither of us to continue talking about him. And what's really going to happen there is I really don't know. There isn't too much of anyone we can tell. Really. I mean, right now it's something that you stand above at any point soon. This is just not the right opportunity here, folks. It's not the right opportunity at the moment. I can't speculate what's going to happen here, unfortunately. But all I can say is it's not the main problem. Is Steve Kerr going to be the perfect fit with the Golden State Warriors next season? I'll talk about that story here in just a moment. Because I truly don't think he's the perfect fit, but I'm not so sure myself at the moment. Really not. But I'm not so sure. Do I think he's going to be the perfect fit for New York for the New York for the Golden State Warriors next season? I'm not sure. We'll talk about that much more when I come back live here on YouTube.com. I'll be back next.
I'm a refugee chased out of town after the worst game of my life. You're one down. The whole stadium turned on me. You get country insurance, then I pay you all this. So you can also be, if you save money, be better protected than they have. Like me. I'm the fourth string quarterback. Due to a pregame meal of all-you-can-eat calamari, now I'm the first string quarterback. But I'm also a transfer student, so I'm a little lost. You got cut rate insurance, your jacked up rates might make you sick. I'm your hot water heater. You hardly know I exist. That's too bad. Because if my pressure relief valve gets stuck, hot water heaters can transform into rocket propelled wrecking balls. If you got the wrong home insurance coverage, your bank account might explode. I'm a teenage girl. My BFF Becky texts and says she's kissed Johnny. That's a problem because I like Johnny. Now I'm emotionally compromised. Whoopsies. I'm all OMG. Becky's not even hot while I paid out Johnny. I'm not making sure this is 10 when you drive by. You checked it out, my awesome headband. When, oops, that's when you find out you're covering insurance and for this. So you can all stay. Save cash and better protect you from mayhem like me. I'm a random windstorm. Skirt. I'm the perfect shape. I'm the perfect color. My scent, like making love to a lumberjack. I've got about 20 minutes before McDonald's shoves me in a stand and covers me in tinsel. But halfway home, my twine gets loose. That makes me your problem. If you have cut rate concerns, you may not be covered with this. So, some people really go. Like the pants struggle to support that. Struggle to support that. I think she does. They're right up ahead. You never update me this now. Let's have a wing it. 5 minutes. Turn left up ahead. Recalculating. Turn right now! You get insurance, man. Gotta pay for all this. You don't steal. You save money, you better protect the man. Like me. Recalculating. I'm a torrential downpour, and I love open sunroofs. Bobby! 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 I'm the kid behind me who was making a read before me. Protect your stuff with Allstate Renters Insurance. I'm some guy you just met. You listened to this midlife crisis on the internet, and 3 emails later, you trusted me with a test drive? How hard could this be? And if you don't have the right motorcycle insurance, you could be fixing this bike yourself. I'm a raccoon. This time in your attic has been the best week of my raccoon life. I'm nested in this fluffy stuff. I've already had like 4 babies. I'm the smartest raccoon I know. If you got your home insurance where you got your 15-minute car insurance, you changed this yourself. I'm the world's worst cleaning lady. Cleanliness was supposed to be my middle name. Then my parents settled on Janet. Now, I'm here in your home having a pretty spectacular Tuesday. But I don't notice the loose rug at the top of your stairs. And that's about to become an issue for me. If you got the wrong home insurance coverage, my medical bills will get expensive. You don't stay where you can tell me protected from a man like me. But Tex Walker, I pay more attention to my LOLs and OMGs than the CARs that are about to HIV. I'm golf ball size hail, get it? Get all state. I may be an orthodontist, but I know I'm gonna do I'm your blind spot. My job is to hide big things. You're good. And when you cut rate insurance, you can be paid for this yourself. So get all state. You save money and you're better protected from mayhem. I'm a streaker. I'm 300 pounds, pink and blue, and apart from the cleats, I'm completely naked.
All right, welcome back here live on YouTube.com. Time is 4:16. Thank you very much for joining me here live on YouTube.com. Steve Kerr has turned down Phil Jackson and the New York Knicks to accept a 5-year deal for $25 million offered to become the Golden State Warriors' next coach, saying it just felt like the right move on many levels. They have a good young team, and the location is idle, Kerr said in a phone interview with NBA.com on Wednesday night. My daughter goes to Cal and plays volleyball. My oldest son is in college in San Diego, California, and our youngest is a junior in high school. This is a short flight for them. Kerr had been in talks with the Knicks about becoming their next coach after Jackson took over as team president in March. Sources with the knowledge of the negotiations told ESPN.com that the Knicks preferring to sign Kerr to a 4-year deal rather than a 5-year deal pack he received from the Golden State Warriors. He had offered him about $20 million with initiatives. Multiple sources also said Kerr preferred the Warriors job to the Knicks job all along, but it was a difficult decision because of his relationship with Jackson. And mentality, it was agonizing to say no to Phil because of what I think of him and what he has done for my career, Kerr said, according to NBA.com. When Phil Jackson asks you to coach the Knicks, how are you going to say no? I think you're going to turn it around, but going to be a big undertaking, and it's going to take time. The idea of doing that 3,000 miles from home, it just doesn't feel right. Kerr had won 3 titles playing for Jackson in Chicago. I told Phil I think I have to pursue this other opportunity, Kerr said. He gave me his blessing. He said, go look at it and do what was in my heart. Kerr won another 2 NBA championships under Greg Popovich in San Antonio, but has never been a head coach. Kerr spent 3 seasons as general manager of the Phoenix Suns before stepping down in June 2010. Warriors owner Joe Lacob, speaking to USA Today, said the team went out and we wanted to find the best guy to lead this team to the next level. Yes, it's true, Kerr. Kerr has not coached before, Lacob said, according to the USA Today, but this is what management is all about. You have to be able to pick people, and it's incredibly prepared. Every detail you can imagine, he knew a roster in and out. He had assistant coaches, and he wanted to go out there, but it was like Tour de France. Look at the end of the day. I know he knows a lot about basketball. Lacob added, we're talking a little bit of a risk on his coaching ability. We're taking a bit of a risk of his coaching ability, but we did that with Mark and it worked. So it's just about finding the right fit for the organization and a guy who has extremely high potential and is a hard worker and is very prepared. That's what we got. Sources said Kerr was under the impression that the Warriors prefer Stan Van Gundy to him when the Detroit Pistons swapped to land Van Gundy. Kerr became the Warriors' top choice, and he's theirs. A leaked source familiar with the team's thinking told ESPN New York that the Golden State empathized to Kerr, that established coaches such as Larry Brown and Mike D'Antoni didn't fare well under the Knicks owner James Dolan. And one source familiar with the process said that is also factored into Kerr's decision. Kerr was presented in negotiations prior to sports Mike Tannenbaum, former general manager of the New York Jets. It just came down to a personal decision, said Priority CEO Mark Bernstein, who served as Kerr's agent. Throughout his playing career, these are 2 great jobs, and there were no problems with the Knicks. This is not. This was not about what the Knicks did or didn't do. This is about Steve and his heart deciding that the Golden State was a better fit right now for him and his family. It was great, first class in every way. It was a long process, and Steve went through a lot of different feelings. Tempenham said, and there wasn't any magical moment where he made the decision and he thought about it, and the more he just felt like everything about Golden State felt right to him. The Warriors met Tuesday with Kerr before his TNT broadcast in Oklahoma City and appeared to remain in the running for alongside with the Knicks, according to sources who acknowledged the situation. Sources told ESPN.com that the Warriors, after initially believing they had no shot at Kerr because he was too deep into his negotiations with the Knicks, started pressing him as hard as they could to try to change his mind after Golden State other top coaching target Van Gundy struck the deal with the Pistons. The Knicks sources said has been strong favors to land Kerr legally because of his long-standing relationship with Jackson. Golden State offered a roster handing by star guard Stephen Curry and an ability for Kerr to take over a 51-win team in his home state. Kerr is a Southern California native and has lived in San Diego for years. Kerr replaces Mark Jackson, who was fired after the Warriors' first-round loss to the Los Angeles Clippers in 7 games, and they wake up maintaining tension between him and front office. The Knicks must now regroup at their center initial for Mike Woodson's replacement on Kerr, but sources who acknowledge the situation said that Oklahoma City guard Derek Fisher and Lakers assistant coach Kurt Rambis, both of whom are close to Phil Jackson, are likely to be considered. Last week in Los Angeles, California, Fisher was asked about coaching the Los Angeles Lakers. I would tell people to allow me to finish my career as a player before they gave me another job. After that, Fisher said, while calling it humbling. Just think about people thinking of me in that manner, especially while I'm still playing, Fisher said. I promise you, this is my last thing on my mind. At this point, I haven't really thought about it that much. Hopefully there's a lot of basketball left to be played this season for sure. Once that's done, we'll go from there. So unfortunately, to me, it's no bigger different to young Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors, who I believe will. I think he has no coaching experience, but he did play as an NBA player. Jason Kidd coached a high school basketball team a long time ago, and he did well. And look at him, he coached the Brooklyn Nets. Wow, unbelievable place for them. There today, here today. May 15th, year 2014. Do I think it's the best fit for Steve Kerr accepting a job with the Golden State Warriors in Oakland, California? Yeah. I think, will they make it next season? I'm not so sure right now about that. Really not so sure. Let's let the best of Steve Kerr here today, Thursday, and hopefully we'll continue talking about the NBA during this off season here live on YouTube.com. Thank you very much for joining me here today, Thursday, this afternoon. I'm looking forward to seeing you later on this evening with more updates on sports, Major League Baseball, to the NBA playoffs and the Stanley Cup playoffs. Thank you very much for joining me here live Thursday. Looking forward to seeing you later. Thank you.